Iran was negotiating a nuclear deal with America, negotiating a deal. So Iran was like, all right, I can't. So then Iran was like, missiles back at Israel, missiles. So Iran has those ones, and then they're launching back and forth. The whole world was like, ah, man, this again, Middle East conflict, Middle East. I'm gonna de-escalate this situation.
It's been one of those weeks where you wake up thinking it'll be simple, maybe just a few laughs in London, and suddenly the world flips. Comedy gigs turn into crisis headlines, and before you know it, Israel and Iran are exchanging missiles. Like it's a tennis match with global consequences. Suddenly, you're not just working, you're surviving a potential World War III preview.
It's been a good week. It's been a crazy week. Oh my goodness. Like I thought the week was just going to be about comedy in London. And then Israel and Iran happened. And then we were on like the brink of like World War III.
By Friday, people are out trying to enjoy themselves, clapping and laughing, but it wasn't like that all week. Earlier in the week, trying to tell jokes while missiles were literally flying in the headlines. That's a tough crowd. Monday and Tuesday audiences, shell shock. You try landing a punchline while the world's dodging bombs.
Like you here are now Friday crowd having fun. Monday, Tuesday crowd. Oof. Yeah. You try tell jokes when there's missiles outside.
And the weirdest part, everyone's acting kind of normal. It's like imagine people years from now asking, where were you when it all went down? Someone replies, oh, Trevor was just telling us a joke about Brixton. That's how strange and surreal the timeline feels now.
Like everyone was here, like, because that would be a weird way, like, to be, you know what I mean? Like at the beginning of
this whole thing feels like a science fiction twist. Like maybe there are alternate timelines, and somehow around the time of COVID, we stumbled into the dumbest one. The timeline where logic, peace, and common sense got swapped for chaos, bad decisions. Fireworks labeled as military grade.
Of World War III. Did you see what happened? No, I didn't. Where were you? Trevor was telling us about Brixton.
This whole thing feels like a science fiction twist. Like maybe there are alternate timelines, and somehow around the time of COVID, we stumbled into the dumbest one. The timeline where logic, peace, and common sense got swapped for chaos, bad decisions. And fireworks labeled as military grade.
It was such an insane story as well. Like now I feel like the world we live in, I sometimes think about like parallel universes and timelines, and I'm not sure if I believe it, but when I do think about it, I go like, I think we somehow slipped into the ludicrous timeline. Like we were all in a very normal timeline, us as people, and then something happened around like COVID, and then we went into the crazy timeline.
It's like we were all living in a stable universe. Then COVID hit, and poof, we rolled into this ridiculous reality. And somewhere out there, there's a version of us living calm, peaceful lives, sipping tea, while we're over here watching leaders freestyle global diplomacy like it's open mic night.
And then the other versions of us are now like, wow, things have become very boring and normal. Because like, this is not normal.
So here's how it unfolded. Iran and the US were surprisingly making progress on a nuclear deal. It was
Iran was negotiating a nuclear deal with America. Negotiating a deal.
Negotiations, followed by more negotiations. Headlines said they were getting close. It was a diplomatic crawl, but they were inching forward.
You know? Like the week starts off, it's been like 2 weeks technically. Right, starts off, Iran was negotiating a nuclear deal with America. Negotiating a deal. They're making progress. They're getting close. They're getting super close.
And then out of nowhere, Israel hits the brakes. Not just brakes, missiles. Boom. No more deal. Because you can't really shake hands while ducking explosions. Israel just started bombing Iranian positions, essentially saying no deal for you.
And then Israel was like, no deal. And then Israel started launching missiles at Iran, right? And then it's hard to make a deal when like missiles hitting.
Trying to negotiate a peace deal while someone's firing rockets at you is like trying to break up with someone in a busy restaurant. The tension's high, the setting is wrong, and the waiter keeps interrupting with, is everything okay here? No, Brian, it's absolutely not.
You know what I mean? Like it's like when you're like trying to break up with someone at a restaurant and then the waiter keeps coming. Is everything great here? Oh, just wait. Let me just handle. So what I'm saying is, how's everything going? Yeah. Look, hey, we'll call you. We'll call you, please.
Iran, understandably, didn't take that well. So they fired back, and Israel responded again. Back and forth, it went missiles from Iran, missiles from Israel, over and over. It became a deadly game of who has more explosives.
So Iran was like, all right, I can't handle. And so then Iran was like, missiles back at Israel, missiles. And then Israel was like, missiles. And then Iran was like, missiles. And it was going back and forth. But
let's be honest, Israel was winning the missile fight. Iran has missiles, sure, but not those kind of missiles. Israel's arsenal looks like Marvel funded it. Iran's stuff. It's like the knockoff fireworks your cousin gets for cheap. Loud, sure, but mostly just annoying and sad.
Israel was definitely winning it because like Iran has missiles, but not like Israel's type of missiles. You know what I mean? Like Iran doesn't have that much money and stuff, so their missiles are like those cheap fireworks your friends. You know when your parents would like they'd feel bad.
You remember those cheap firecrackers your parents got you on Guy Fawkes night? Ones they made you throw on the ground because they didn't even launch? That's the Iranian missile program right now. It's not funny, but also it's kind of funny.
You'd be like, what are we doing for Guy Fawkes Day? And then your parents would be like, do you want these ones? You're like, do you like them? They're like, no, just throw them on the ground. I was like, pat. Do you feel like the other kids? No, I don't at all.
The whole world's watching this spiral and going, seriously, it's again another Middle East conflict. Same script, different year. And just when you think it can't possibly get more absurd, guess who shows up?
So Iran has those ones, and then they're launching back and forth. The whole world was like, man, this again, Middle East conflict, Middle East. And then, at the peak of it, everyone was like, man, how could this get worse?
Yeah, Donald Trump. Because of course, like a plot twist in a bad movie, Trump walks in and says, I'm gonna help de-escalate the situation. Which is hilarious because Trump has never de-escalated anything. Ever. Not a fight, not a tweet, not even his own hand gestures.
Donald Trump was like, hello. Donald Trump came in and he was like, I'm gonna help. I'm gonna totally de-escalate this situation.
Trump promising to calm things down is like gasoline saying it's here to put out a fire. From his hair to his policies, nothing about the man says soothing presence. If Trump's involved, something's about to get louder, more chaotic, or literally on fire.
I'm gonna de-escalate this situation. And we were like, my man, you've never de-escalated a thing in your life. From your hair to your politics, nothing is a de-escalation. Nothing.
And sure enough, he opens with the usual bluster. Too many bombs, way too many bombs. We've got to stop the bombs. And you're like, okay, maybe he's actually going to call for peace. Maybe this is the plot twist we didn't see coming.
But Trump came in and he's like, I don't like how Iran and Israel are launching bombs at each other all the time. So many bombs, we can't have this, it's not right. Too many bombs, we gotta stop it. No more bombs, we gotta stop it, we gotta fix it.
But then he says it, I'll stop the bombs by dropping bombs. Yes, his solution to too many bombs was more bombs. Everyone thought he might mediate. He even said, peace deal, folks. We need a peace deal. And then boom, he orders an airstrike on Iran.
And they're like, all right, how are you gonna fix it? He's like, by dropping bombs. I'm gonna drop bombs. And no one expected it. Like the whole world was like, okay, Trump is gonna mediate, or he's gonna, because he said to them, hey guys, let's sort this out, peace deal. We're gonna do a peace deal.
The world froze. People were stunned. Even Trump supporters blinked. And I had friends texting me in shock. Like, can you believe he did that? And I said, honestly, neither can he. Because that's the most consistent thing about Trump. He surprises even himself.
And then he dropped bombs on Iran. And everyone in the world was like, what the hell? And a lot of people in my life were like, oh man, I can't believe that Trump did this. I can't believe. And they were so strict.
If there's one weird comfort about Trump, it's that he's also confused. He's not some mastermind pulling strings. He's just as baffled as the rest of us. He's the kind of guy who sets the building on fire, then calls 911 and asks, hey, Who did this?
And I was like, yes, but look on the bright side. And they're like, what bright side? I was like, on the bright side, Trump also can't believe that he did this.
And that's why it feels like he's trapped in this mess with us. The difference is, he's got the key to the prison cell. But instead of using it, he's pacing around going, we're stuck, we're trapped. And everyone else is like, dude, use the key.
Like, that's the one glimmer of hope that I get from Donald Trump, is that, like, he also doesn't know what he's doing. He's in it with us, which is a nice change. Oftentimes we're at the mercy of those in power, but he's in the mercy with us. Like, we're all locked in a prison cell, but he's holding the key and he's like, we're all trapped, we're all trapped. What are we gonna do? We're like, you use the key. What are you talking about?
To cap it all off, Trump holds a press conference. Even in that, he looks amazed. Earlier today, he says the U.S. launched bunker buster missiles on Iran's nuclear facilities. Then he just marvels at the bombs like he discovered. Fireworks for the first time. You've never seen bombs like these? And then admits he's the one who ordered it. As if he just remembered mid-sentence that, yes, this was his idea.
In the press conference, he came out and he's like, earlier today, the United States military, that's us, launched missiles, bunker busters, launched missiles on Iran, on all their nuclear facilities. And boy, you don't understand. You've never seen bombs like that before. They came down and they dropped them, those bombs. Well, I couldn't believe what those bombs were doing. I couldn't believe it. And I called. I'm the one who called. I said, drop the bomb. I didn't know I was gonna call. I said 2 weeks. I told everybody 2 weeks. It was gonna be 2 weeks. And then I was on the plane. Then I said, I'm calling. Drop the bombs. And the bombs were dropped. I'd never seen bombs like that. I said, whoa, we're never dropping bombs like that again. I never seen bombs like that. Those bombs were dropped, and now it's over. We're all good. And so now, because America had dropped bombs on them, then Iran had to respond, but then Iran didn't want to get into a fight. No one wants to get into a fight with America, you know what I mean? And so, like, Iran was like, we are going to retaliate against you. And then they launched missiles at an American base in Qatar, but then they phoned America first. They did. They were like, all right, we are launching bombs against you in like 45 minutes, an hour maybe. You tell us how long you need, then we'll launch the bombs. And then the Americans cleared out their base and everything important, and then the bombs fell. And then Trump, very, like, in an interesting way, he responded to Iran. Then he wrote on his, like, thing online, on his profile, he was like, thank you to Iran for giving us notice about the bombs. Now it's over. It's all over. There will be peace. And then he said, Iran, Israel, peace. And they were like, all right, peace, all good. Then Trump went to sleep. And in the 4 hours that he was sleeping, Israel, like, out of nowhere, they came and they were like, Iran launched more missiles. And then everyone was like, wait, what missiles? And Israel was like, you launched missiles. And Iran was like, no, And then Israel was like, too late, we're coming for you with more bombs. And then the world was like, what? And then Trump woke up. And this was the moment when I can safely say I have felt more connected to Donald Trump than I've ever in my entire life. Because that man is not a normal human being. Very seldom have I looked at Trump and thought, yeah, I can relate to this. But he came out after Israel was about to launch a full-scale bombing attack on Iran. And he came out, he heard about this. Man didn't even put on a tie. Came out of the White House half-dressed, ran straight into reporters, and he went into it. He was like, I heard about what Iran is doing and what Israel is doing. And let me tell you, I'm angry at Iran, but I'm more angry at Israel. They said peace, and I said we're going to do peace, and they're launching, and I'm sick of them. Israel, you better not do it. You don't do it, Israel. I said peace. You don't do it. He looked like a dad who had kids that were fighting in the backyard. And he was just going back and forth. He's just like, Israel, shut up, baby. Come on, shut up. Sit up. How many times do you have to tell your kids that you're not going to? I told you once and I'll tell you again. And then he looked at the reporter and he did something I've never seen an American president do in my entire life. He cursed live on TV into the camera. Looked at the camera and he was like, they were like, what do you think, Mr.? He's like, I'll tell you what this is. You've got two countries that have been fighting so long, they don't know what the they're doing. You're like, oh, Dad is mad. Dad is mad. And I don't know what was crazier, the fact that he cursed on live TV as an American president, or the fact that that somehow became bigger news than the actual bombs that were dropped. The bombs was like half a day of news. The biggest bombs ever dropped on a country randomly out of war was barely any news. And then Trump came out and he swore every news outlet, Guardian, BBC, Al Jazeera, CNN, you name, all of them, Trump curses, Trump swears, Trump says F word, F word. And I was like, damn, so the F bomb was more important than the bomb. Everyone on TV, we've never seen this before.